throwing into this time, pleasure, thought, we are always bound by time. And therefore time has never a stop. It's only when there is an end to time that is something totally new. Otherwise it's merely a continuity of what has been modified through the present and conditioned by the future. For a human being to be free of fear, fear about the future, fear about the dozen fears that human beings have, conscious or undiscovered fears. Fears of the neighbor, fears of death, fear of being lonely, insecure, uncertain, fear of being confused, fear of being stupid and not trying to become very clever. You know, fear. Fear is always in relation to something. It doesn't exist by itself. And to be totally free of fear, not partially, not a fragment of that totality of what is considered fear, to be totally, that is, psychologically, to be completely be free of fear. One must understand thought, time, and pleasure. And this understanding is not intellectual or emotional. Understanding can only come when there is total attention. When you give your complete attention to pleasure, how it comes into being. What is time? Time which thought has created. I was, I will be, I am. I must change this into that. This idea of gradual process, this idea of gradual psychological evolution of man. And that's very gratifying. Will gradually all of us become extraordinarily kindly. We shall gradually lose all our violence, aggression. We'll all be brotherly at one time, much later. This gradual concept, which is generally called evolution psychologically, seems to me so utterly false. We are not offering an opinion. This is a fact. Because when you give your attention to something completely, there is no time at all. You don't say, I will do it tomorrow. In that state of attention, there is neither yesterday, today, or tomorrow. Therefore, time has come to an end. But that ending of time cannot possibly be when there is the center as the principle of pleasure. Pleasure has in it pain. The two things cannot be separated. Pleasure is pain. If you have observed, so you cannot possibly psychologically avoid pain if you are pursuing psychologically pleasure. We want the one and we don't want the other. we function emotionally. Want and not want. And when deep issues, fundamental problems are concerned, and to give to your mind totally to it, is rather difficult when all your life has been dissipated in fragmentary action. And when we do act totally, we only do it when there is a crisis. Then you wake up and give your whole attention. And this is a crisis. A talk of this kind is a crisis, is a challenge. You can't just push it aside. Therefore, it may be rather difficult, maybe perhaps arduous to follow all this. But it won't be arduous if you're following your own state of mind. You know, it's like sitting on the bank of a river and watching the river waters go by. And when you so watch, there is neither the observer nor the observed. There is only a movement. But that to observe, that there must be no fear, no time, no sense of pleasure and the demand for gratification. Then in that state you can observe the whole movement of life. The movement of life which is agony, despair, the ache of meaningless existence, the routine, the boredom, the great fears as of death, which we'll talk about another day. So you can watch all this. And when you so observe, the observer is that which is observing. And then you can go beyond all this. And the mutation can only take place in the mind when time, pleasure, and fear have come to an end, and therefore there is a certain dimension of quality which cannot be approached through thought.
This has been the third of 8 programs presenting Krishnamurti, whose original and challenging approach to the problems of our time places him outside any simple category such as philosopher or religious leader. Filmed in the Ojai Valley in California, the series represents the first time that Krishnamurti has permitted his talks to be filmed. The next program is called Meditation.
This is NET, the National Educational Television Network.